discuss our first chapter in chemistry, chemical reactions and equations. So let's get started. We can see a varieties of changes around us, which may be physical or chemical changes. So what are these physical or chemical changes? Let's discuss. Physical change. These are the changes which can be easily reversed. For example, melting of wax, freezing of water, etc. So in this process, only the physical state is changing. In melting of wax, the solid wax is converted to liquid wax and it can be reversed back easily. Next, chemical change. These are the changes which cannot be reversed easily. For example, milk to curd, rusting of iron, etc. In milk to curd, if the milk is converted to curd, it cannot be reversed back. That means a chemical change occurs there. All these chemical change is accompanied by a chemical reaction and these are represented with the help of a chemical equation. And these chemical reactions and equations are going to discuss in this chapter. What is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is a process in which one or more substances combine to form a new substance. That means when one or more substances are reacting each other to form a new compound or substance is called a chemical reaction. So these substances that undergoing a chemical change in this reaction is called reactant and the new substance formed from this reaction is called products. For example, if magnesium reacts with oxygen, it produces magnesium oxide. So these two substances are the reactants and the formation of this product magnesium oxide is the product. And LHS means left hand side, it represents the reactants and RHS right hand side represents the product. Next, identification of chemical reaction. A chemical reaction can identified by some observations. First is change in state, change in color, evolution of a gas, change in temperature, and formation of a precipitate. So these observations can help to determine a chemical reaction occurs or not. Change in state means the change in physical state. That means solid changes to liquid or liquid to changes to gas, like that. Change in color means the color of the substance can change before and after a chemical reaction. Evolution of a gas means the formation of gas can also seen in a chemical reaction. Change in temperature, the temperature can also change in a chemical reaction. Formation of a precipitate. Precipitate means it is an insoluble substance formed in a solution. So all these observations will help us to determine the chemical reaction. Examples of a chemical reaction. Let's see some examples of a chemical reaction. The first one is burning of a magnesium ribbon in air produces magnesium oxide. If we keep magnesium ribbon in flame, it produces a white powder called magnesium oxide. It is because the magnesium reacts with oxygen present in the air leads to the formation of magnesium oxide. Another example, formation of hydrogen gas from zinc granules and dilute hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid. In this, if we keep some zinc granules in a test tube or a conical flask and we are adding some dilute hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, we can see the formation of zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. That means zinc is reacted with this dilute sulfuric acid to produce zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. Next, we will discuss some chemical reactions we can see in our daily life. One is milk is left at room temperature. What happens when we keep milk at room temperature? It gets converted to curd. That means a chemical reaction happens there to convert milk to curd. The next is respiration. Respiration means breathing. That means we are inhaling oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. That's also a chemical reaction. Next is rusting of iron. That means corrosion. In this, iron is reacted with moisture in the atmosphere and produces a layer of iron oxide in this. That means it's a chemical reaction. The next is digestion of food. What is digestion? Means we are taking our food particles, then it breaks down into smaller food molecules to get our energy or nutrients. That's all our chemical reactions only. So these are some chemical reactions we can see in our daily life. Next is chemical equation. What is a chemical equation? A chemical equation is the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction. So a chemical reaction can be represented in the form of a chemical equation. So symbols and formula of these reactants and products are used in chemical equation. And the change of reactants to product is shown through an arrow placed in between them. So the direction of this arrow indicates the chemical reaction, that's reactants to products. On left hand side of arrow, the reactants are written with a plus sign between them. If there are two or more reactants are there, it can be separated with the help of this plus sign. On right hand side of the arrow, the products are written same with a plus sign between them. And this chemical equation also involves some symbols mentioning the physical state of both reactants and products like solid, liquid, gas or aqueous. So these letters indicate the physical state of both reactants and products. We can see one example. Magnesium react with oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. So this chemical reaction can be represented in the form of this chemical equation. So here the formula of magnesium, oxygen magnesium oxide is used, MgO2 and MgO. And the reactants are separated with this plus sign. This only one product is here. And arrow represents or indicates the direction of the chemical equation. And this S, G and S, this represents the physical state. That means magnesium is solid, oxygen is gas, MgO is again a solid. So these are the reactants and this is the product. Next, balancing of a chemical equation. So we know what's a chemical equation. So next we have to study about balancing of a chemical equation. What is the need of balancing a chemical equation? We know the law of conservation of masses. What is it? The law of conservation of mass is mass can neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction. So according to the law of conservation of masses, the total mass of the elements present in the products of a chemical reaction has to be equal to the total mass of the elements present in the reactant. That means the total number of atoms remains same before and after the chemical reaction. For example, zinc reacts with sulfuric acid, produces zinc sulfate and hydrogen. The chemical equation will be like this. Zn plus H2SO4 produces ZnSO4 and H2. So let's see whether this equation is balanced or not. For that, we have to count the number of atoms in this reactants and number of atoms in this product side. So we have drawn three columns here. So the elements in this equations are zinc, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. So let's count how many number of atoms are there. So in the reactant side, how many atoms of zinc? 1. Then hydrogen, it's 2. Sulfur, it's 1. Oxygen, it's 4. Let's count in the product side. Zinc, it's 1. Sulfur it's 1, oxygen, it's 4, and hydrogen, it's 2. Let's see whether it's equal or not. Yeah, zinc, it's equal. Hydrogen, it's equal. Sulfur, equal. Oxygen, 4 and 4, it's equal. So that means number of atoms in the reactant side equals to the number of atoms in the product side. That means this equation is balanced. We can check one another example. Here, Fe reacts with H2O and forming Fe3O4 and H2. So we should check whether this equation is balanced or not. So here I have written element, number of atoms in the reactants and number of atoms in the products in 3 different columns. So our elements here in this equation is Fe, H and O. So let's count number of atoms in both sides. So in reactant side, Fe is 1, and for hydrogen it's 2, and oxygen it's 1. So I have written all these 3 here in this column. And for product side, Fe is 3, and oxygen is 4, and hydrogen is 2. That also I have written in this column, the number of atoms in the products. So see whether the number of atoms on both sides equal or not. This is not equal because the number of atoms is different on both sides. So we have to balance this equation. For this, we have to write each element in separate column like this: Fe plus H2O forming Fe3O4 and H2. So all the elements in the separate column. For first, we have to consider the element with the highest number of atoms. So check here. The highest number of atom is for oxygen. It's 4 in the product side. So we have to balance oxygen first. So in the product side, oxygen is 4. So we have to make the oxygen for the reactant side as 4 atom. So we have to put a 4 here to make number of oxygen atom as 4. Like this. Fe plus 4H2O forming Fe3O4. So here the number of oxygen atom in the product side is 4, and here in the reactant side also 4. So oxygen is okay now. So next we have to consider the hydrogen atom, because in reactant side the number of hydrogen atom is 8, 4 into 8. But here in the product side it is 2 only. So we have to balance hydrogen. So if we put a 4 here, so the both side will be equal for hydrogen atom. So Fe plus 4H2O forming Fe3O4 plus 4H2. So here oxygen is equal and hydrogen is also okay now. So next we have to consider the iron, Fe. So here in the product side the number of iron atoms is 3, but here it is only 1. So we have to make it equal. For that we have to put a 3 here. So 3Fe will be equal to 3Fe here. So the equation will be 3Fe plus 4H2O forming Fe3O4 plus 4H2. So let's check. The reactant side number of Fe is 3, and here also it's 3. And here hydrogen it is 8, here also it is 8. And for oxygen it is 4, and here also it is 4. So that means number of atoms in both sides is equal now. So we have to write the balanced equation like this: 3Fe plus 4H2O forming Fe3O4 plus 4H2. So a complete balanced chemical equation should represent the physical state of each element also. So we have to write a complete balanced equation as 3FeS plus 4H2O gas forming Fe3O4 S for solid plus 4H2 gas. Here water it's gas because it was in the form of steam. So this is a complete balanced chemical equation because it is having equal number of atoms for both reactants and products, and also it represents the physical state of each element, and then reactants and products are separated by a plus sign, and the direction of chemical reaction is represented by this arrow also. So I hope you clear with this. Next we will see the different types of chemical reactions. What are they? Combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, oxidation and reduction. We will discuss one by one in detail. First, combination reaction. Combination reactions are the reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form a single product. Two or more reactants combine to form a single product. For example, this is calcium oxide reacts with water producing calcium hydroxide and heat. That means two reactants combine to form a single product. Since a lot of heat is generated in this reaction is called as exothermic reaction. So exothermic reaction means the reaction in which heat is generated. Another example is hydrogen reacts with oxygen forming water. Then carbon reacts with oxygen producing carbon dioxide. Next type is decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction means it is just opposite to that of combination reaction. This is a reaction in which a single reactant breaks down to give two or more products. Single reactant breaks down to give two or more products. These reactions requires some heat or energy to getting decomposed. That means it's a single reactant decomposed to form products. So some sort of energy or heat required to form these products. So these reactions are called as endothermic reaction. So endothermic reactions are the reactions which occurs by the absorption of heat or energy. So depending upon the form of energy required, these decomposition reactions are of three types. One is thermal decomposition reaction, next electrolytic decomposition reaction, and photolytic decomposition reaction. Let's see. What's a thermal decomposition reaction? In this reaction, the decomposition occurs by using energy in the form of heat. Example, this is calcium carbonate. By the absorption of heat, it produces or decomposes into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Next is electrolytic decomposition reaction. This reaction is using electrical energy for decomposition. For example, water, by passing electric current, it decomposes to give hydrogen and oxygen. Next is photolytic decomposition reaction. In this reaction, the decomposition occurs by using light energy. For example, silver chloride, in the presence of sunlight, it decomposes to give silver and chlorine. Same, this is silver bromide. Exposed to sunlight, it decomposes to give silver and bromine. So, this decomposition reaction of this silver halides is used in black and white photography. The next one is displacement reaction. These are the reaction in which more reactive element displaces the less reactive element from its compound. For example, iron, that is Fe, reacts with copper sulfate, produces ferrous sulfate and copper. So in this, the more reactive metal or element is iron compared to copper. So this more reactive iron displaces the copper from its solution and forming ferrous sulfate. Here, zinc reacts with copper sulfate, produces zinc sulfate and copper. So here also the zinc is more reactive than copper. So zinc displaces copper from its solution and forming zinc sulfate. Next is double displacement reaction. These are the reaction in which new compounds are formed by the mutual exchange of ions between two compounds. For example, sodium sulfate reacts with barium chloride, produces barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Here, the exchange of sodium and barium occurs. That means sodium takes up the position of barium and barium takes up the position of sodium. That means mutual exchange between these two substances, producing barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Actually, this barium sulfate is a precipitate. What is a precipitate? A precipitate means an insoluble substance formed in a solution. Here, this barium sulfate is a white insoluble substance formed in the solution. So, this reaction is also called as precipitation reaction. Precipitation reaction means the reaction in which a precipitate is formed. So, this reaction is a precipitation reaction because this barium sulfate is a precipitate. Next is oxidation and reduction. What is oxidation? Oxidation means addition of oxygen to a substance or removal of hydrogen from a substance. For example, copper reacts with oxygen in the presence of heat to produce copper oxide. Here the oxygen is added to this copper. That means it's an oxidation reaction. Next, reduction. The reduction means addition of oxygen to substance or removal of oxygen from a substance, just opposite that of oxidation. For example, sodium reacts with hydrogen to form sodium hydride. That means hydrogen is added to sodium. So oxidation means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Reduction, just opposite, addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen from a substance. Let us see some effects of oxidation reactions in daily life. First one is corrosion. What is corrosion? This is a phenomenon in which metals are weakened by the reaction of air, water or any chemicals present in the atmosphere. Here, when metals are exposed to air, water or any chemicals, a layer of metal oxide is formed in them by the reaction of this metal with oxygen present in the air. So this metal oxide will weaken the property of that particular metal. For example, black coating on silver, green coating on copper, rusting of iron. So here, when these metals are exposed to air, water or any chemicals in the atmosphere, a layer of metal oxide is formed in them, which weakens its property. Effects of corrosion are: corrosion can cause damage to car bodies, bridges, iron railings and all subjects made of metals, especially that are made up of iron. Next is rancidity. It is a process of slow oxidation of fats and oil present in the food material, resulting in the change of smell and taste in them. So rancidity will result in the bad smell and taste in the food material. It is because of the slow oxidation of fats and oils present in that food material. We can prevent this rancidity by some methods. Methods to prevent rancidity. They are: we can keep food materials in airtight containers. Next, refrigeration of cooked food at low temperature. Next, pack food items like fried chips or wafers, etc. in packets containing nitrogen gas instead of air. And it can also prevent by adding antioxidants. So this rancidity can be prevented by these methods. That's all about this chapter. So far we discussed what is a chemical reaction, what is a chemical equation, how to balance it, different examples of chemical reaction, then different types of chemical reaction, the effects of chemical reactions in daily life. I hope you understood what I have taken. If you like this video, do share with us your friends and please subscribe our channel. Thank you.